Have you ever felt like the universe is trying to tell you something? Picture this. You're walking down the street, lost in thought about a big decision you need to make. Suddenly, you notice a billboard with a message that seems to speak directly to your situation. Later that day, a friend calls out of the blue and mentions the exact same thing. Then, just before bed, you open a book to find a quote that perfectly captures your dilemma. Coincidence? Maybe not. These could be signs from the universe, little whispers from the cosmos trying to guide you. Now, I know what you're thinking. Signs from the universe? That sounds a bit out there. But stick with me for a moment. These signs are everywhere, and they're not just for people who consider themselves spiritual. They're for everyone who's open to seeing them. Maybe you've noticed repeating numbers on clocks or license plates. Or perhaps you've had a song pop into your head, only to hear it playing when you turn on the radio. These aren't just random events. They could be the universe's way of sending you a message. The thing is, most of us are so caught up in our daily grind that we miss these signs completely. We brush them off as mere coincidences or random occurrences. But what if they're not? What if the universe is constantly trying to communicate with us, guide us, and show us the way? Imagine how different your life could be if you could tap into this cosmic wisdom. That's what we're going to explore today: how to recognize and understand these signs from the universe. Now, you might be wondering why this matters. After all, can't we just go about our lives without worrying about cosmic signs? Sure, we could. But here's the thing. If we ignore these signs, we might be missing out on some incredible opportunities. Think about it like this. Imagine you're trying to navigate a new city without a map or GPS. You could probably figure it out eventually, but wouldn't it be so much easier if you had a guide? That's what these signs from the universe are. They're like cosmic road signs, pointing us in the right direction. They can help us make better decisions, avoid pitfalls, and find our true path in life. But if we're not paying attention, we might miss the exit that leads to our dreams. We might take a wrong turn and end up somewhere we never wanted to be. But here's the exciting part. If we learn to recognize and understand these signs, our lives could change in amazing ways. It's like having a direct line to the wisdom of the universe. Imagine always knowing which choice to make, which path to take. Imagine feeling guided and supported in everything you do. That's the power of tuning into these universal signs. And it's not just about the big life-changing moments. Understanding these signs can bring more joy, peace, and meaning to our everyday lives. It can help us feel more connected to the world around us and to our own inner wisdom. It's like unlocking a secret language that's been there all along, just waiting for us to learn how to read it. Now, let's talk about something really special: divine timing. This is the idea that everything happens at exactly the right moment, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time. It's like the universe has a perfect schedule, and everything is unfolding according to plan. Think about it like this. Have you ever missed a bus or a train, only to meet someone important while you were waiting for the next one? Or maybe you didn't get a job you really wanted, but then found an even better opportunity later. That's divine timing in action. It's the universe's way of making sure you're in the right place at the right time for the things that are meant for you. Understanding divine timing can be a game changer in our lives. It teaches us patience and trust. Instead of getting frustrated when things don't happen as quickly as we want, we can relax and know that everything will unfold at the perfect time. It's like planting a seed. You can't make it grow faster by pulling on the leaves. You have to trust the process and know that with the right care and conditions, it will bloom when it's ready. Divine timing also helps us appreciate the journey, not just the destination. Sometimes, we're so focused on getting to our goals that we miss the beautiful lessons and experiences along the way. But when we trust in divine timing, we can enjoy each moment, knowing that it's all part of a bigger plan. Here's a personal example to help you understand. A few years ago, I was desperate to move to a new city. I had my heart set on it and couldn't understand why it wasn't happening. I applied for jobs, looked at apartments, but nothing seemed to work out. I was getting really frustrated. But then, a year later, the perfect opportunity came up. Not only did I get to move to the city I wanted, but I also landed my dream job and met my partner within the first month of being there. Looking back, I can see that if I had moved when I originally wanted to, none of those amazing things would have happened. The universe knew better than I did about the right timing. This doesn't mean we should just sit back and wait for things to happen. Divine timing is about co-creating with the universe. We still need to take action and work towards our goals, but it's about doing so with trust and patience, knowing that things will unfold in the best way possible, even if it's not exactly how or when we expected. Understanding divine timing also helps us let go of the need to control everything. Let's face it, life is unpredictable. No matter how much we plan, unexpected things happen. But when we believe in divine timing, we can approach these surprises with curiosity instead of fear. We can ask ourselves, what is this teaching me? Or how is this preparing me for something better? This shift in perspective can turn obstacles into opportunities and setbacks into stepping stones. Another beautiful aspect of divine timing is how it connects us to the bigger picture. Sometimes, we get so caught up in our own lives that we forget we're part of something larger. But divine timing reminds us that we're all connected, that our actions and experiences ripple out and affect others in ways we might not even realize. It's like we're all actors in a grand cosmic play, each with our own role to play and our own perfect timing for entering and exiting the stage. Think about some of the most significant moments in your life. Maybe it was meeting your best friend, discovering your passion, or overcoming a major challenge. If you look closely, you might see how many little events and coincidences had to line up perfectly for those moments to happen. That's divine timing at work. It's orchestrating events behind the scenes, setting the stage for the magic moments in our lives. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but what about the bad things that happen? Is that divine timing too? It's a great question, and it touches on one of the most challenging aspects of this concept. The truth is, we don't always understand why things happen the way they do. Sometimes, painful or difficult experiences are part of our journey, but even these can have a purpose in the grand scheme of things. They might be preparing us for something, teaching us important lessons, or redirecting us towards a better path. It's often only in hindsight that we can see how even the tough times were necessary for our growth and led us to where we needed to be. Understanding divine timing doesn't mean we'll never face challenges or disappointments, but it does give us a framework for dealing with them. Instead of feeling like victims of random chance, we can approach life's ups and downs with a sense of purpose and meaning. We can trust that even if we don't understand it now, everything is happening for a reason and in its own perfect time. One of the most beautiful things about divine timing is how it can bring a sense of peace and flow to our lives. When we're in sync with divine timing, life starts to feel more like a dance and less like a struggle. We start to notice how things just seem to fall into place. We might find ourselves in the right place at the right time more often. Opportunities might appear just when we need them. It's not that life becomes perfect or easy, but there's a sense of being carried by a current rather than swimming against the tide. This doesn't mean we become passive. In fact, understanding divine timing can make us more proactive in a different way. Instead of pushing and forcing things to happen, we learn to listen and respond to the rhythms of life. We become more intuitive, more in tune with the subtle guidance we're receiving. We learn to recognize when it's time to take action and when it's time to wait and prepare. It's like learning to surf. We can't control the waves, but we can learn to ride them skillfully. Divine timing also teaches us the value of the present moment. Often, we're so focused on the future or stuck in the past that we miss the magic happening right now. But when we trust in divine timing, we can fully engage with the present. We can appreciate the lessons, joys, and experiences of each moment, knowing that they're all part of our journey. This mindfulness can greatly enhance our quality of life and our sense of fulfillment. It's important to remember that divine timing doesn't always align with our personal timelines or society's expectations. In a world that often values speed and instant gratification, divine timing asks us to embrace patience and trust. This can be challenging, especially when we see others achieving things we desire. But remember, everyone's path is unique. Your journey is your own, and it's unfolding exactly as it should. Understanding divine timing can also help us be more compassionate, both with ourselves and others. When we recognize that everything is happening in its own perfect timing, we can let go of self-judgment for not being where we think we should be. We can also extend this understanding to others, recognizing that they too are on their own divinely timed journey. As we wrap up this section on divine timing, I want to encourage you to start noticing how it might be working in your own life. Look back on your experiences. Can you see how certain delays or detours led you to something better? Can you recognize how challenges prepared you for later successes? As you move forward, try to approach life with an open mind and heart, trusting that everything is unfolding as it should. You might be surprised at the magic that starts to happen when you align yourself with the flow of divine timing. Now that we've talked about divine timing, let's dive into the different ways the universe might be trying to communicate with you. It's like the cosmos has its own language, and once you start to understand it, you'll see signs everywhere. Don't worry, you don't need to be psychic or super spiritual to notice these signs. They're available to everyone who's willing to pay attention. Let's start with numbers. Have you ever noticed the same number popping up everywhere? Maybe you keep seeing 1111 on the clock, or the number 333 shows up on license plates, receipts, or page numbers. This isn't just a coincidence. In the world of spirituality, these are often called angel numbers, and they each have their own special meaning. For example, 111 is often seen as a sign of new beginnings, while 444 might represent protection and guidance. But numbers aren't the only way the universe sends us messages. Music can be a powerful sign too. Have you ever had a song pop into your head out of nowhere, only to turn on the radio and hear that exact song playing? Or maybe you've been struggling with a problem, and suddenly you hear a song with lyrics that seem to speak directly to your situation. These musical synchronicities can be the universe's way of giving you a message or reassurance. Dreams are another fascinating way the universe might communicate with us. Sometimes our dreams can feel incredibly vivid or meaningful, like they're trying to tell us something important. Maybe you dream about a long-lost friend and then run into them the next day. Or perhaps you have a dream that gives you the solution to a problem you've been struggling with. Paying attention to your dreams and keeping a dream journal can help you start to decipher these nighttime messages. Nature can also be full of signs if we're open to seeing them. Maybe you're thinking about a loved one who has passed away, and suddenly a butterfly lands near you and stays for an unusually long time. Or perhaps you're asking the universe for guidance, and you look up to see a perfectly heart-shaped cloud. These natural phenomena can be powerful reminders that we're connected to something larger than ourselves. Books and media can be another source of signs. Have you ever randomly opened a book to find exactly the advice you needed? Or maybe you turn on the TV and catch just one line of dialogue that seems to answer a question you've been pondering. These random encounters with meaningful information can be the universe's way of guiding you towards the wisdom you need. Even other people can be conduits for signs from the universe. Sometimes a stranger might say something in passing that resonates deeply with you, or a friend might recommend a book or movie that ends up changing your life. These seemingly chance encounters and recommendations can be the universe working through others to get a message to you. Physical sensations can also be signs. Maybe you get goosebumps when you're thinking about a certain decision, or you feel a warm sensation in your heart when you're on the right path. Some people report feeling a tingling sensation or hearing a high-pitched tone in their ears when they're receiving guidance. Learning to tune into these physical cues can be another way to receive messages from the universe. It's important to remember that signs from the universe are often subtle. They're not usually big, dramatic events, although sometimes they can be. More often, they're small, everyday occurrences that we might easily overlook if we're not paying attention. That's why developing an awareness of these signs is so important. Also, keep in mind that signs can be very personal. What serves as a sign for one person might not mean anything to another. That's why it's important to trust your own intuition and develop your own sign language with the universe. Over time, you'll start to recognize the unique ways that the universe communicates with you. Now that we've talked about the different types of signs, you might be wondering, how do I actually recognize these signs in my own life? Don't worry, it's not as hard as you might think. The key is to stay open, aware, and curious about the world around you. First and foremost, it's important to be present in the moment. So often, we're caught up in our thoughts about the past or the future that we miss what's happening right now. Try to practice mindfulness in your daily life. This doesn't mean you need to meditate for hours, although that can certainly help. It can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths and really noticing your surroundings as you walk down the street or do the dishes. Another crucial aspect of recognizing signs is trusting your intuition. You know that gut feeling you get sometimes? That little voice inside that says, "This feels important," or "I should pay attention to this?" That's your intuition, and it's a powerful tool for recognizing signs from the universe. Often, our logical mind might try to dismiss these feelings, but when it comes to spiritual signs, your intuition is your best guide. Start paying attention to patterns and repetitions in your life. If you keep seeing the same number, hearing the same phrase, or encountering similar situations, it might be more than just coincidence. The universe often uses repetition to get our attention. It's like when a friend keeps mentioning something, eventually, you realize it must be important. It's also helpful to keep an open mind. Sometimes, signs can come in unexpected ways or from unexpected sources. Maybe you're not a numbers person, but suddenly you start noticing a certain number everywhere. Or perhaps you've never been interested in birds, but a particular bird keeps showing up in your yard. Don't dismiss these occurrences just because they're outside your usual interests or experiences. Timing can be a big clue when it comes to recognizing signs. If something happens right after you've asked for guidance or been thinking about a particular issue, it's more likely to be a sign. For example, if you've been wondering whether to apply for a new job, and then you overhear a conversation about job opportunities in that exact field, it might be the universe giving you a nudge. Pay attention to your emotional reactions too. Signs often come with a feeling of significance or meaning. You might feel a sense of excitement, peace, or rightness when you encounter a sign. On the flip side, if something feels off or doesn't sit right with you, that can be a sign too. Perhaps a warning to reconsider your current path. It can be helpful to keep a journal of potential signs you notice. This can help you start to see patterns over time. Maybe you'll notice that certain types of signs show up when you're on the right track, while others appear when you need to change course. A journal can also help you look back and see how signs have played out in your life. Remember, recognizing signs is a skill that develops over time. Don't get discouraged if you feel like you're missing signs at first. The more you practice being aware and open to guidance, the easier it will become to recognize the signs that are meant for you. It's also important to strike a balance between being open to signs and not becoming obsessed with looking for them everywhere. The goal is to be receptive, not to overanalyze every little thing that happens. Trust that the important signs will make themselves known to you. Finally, don't forget to trust yourself. You are the best interpreter of the signs in your life. While it can be helpful to learn about common interpretations of certain signs, ultimately, what matters most is what these signs mean to you. Your relationship with the universe is unique, and the way it communicates with you will be unique too. So, you've started noticing signs from the universe. Maybe you've seen repeating numbers, had meaningful dreams, or experienced uncanny coincidences. That's great. But now you might be wondering, what do I do with this information? Don't worry, I've got you covered. Let's talk about how to respond when you notice signs from the universe. First things first, take a moment to acknowledge the sign. This might seem simple, but it's an important step. When you notice a sign, take a deep breath and mentally, or even out loud, say something like, "I see you. Thank you for this guidance." This acknowledgement helps to strengthen your connection with the universe and shows that you're open to receiving more signs. Next, try to interpret the sign. What do you think it means? Remember, while there are general interpretations for many signs, like angel numbers, the most important meaning is the one that resonates with you. Trust your intuition here. What was on your mind when you noticed the sign? How did you feel when you saw it? These can be clues to its meaning for you. One great way to explore the meaning of signs is through meditation. After you've noticed a sign, take some time to sit quietly and reflect on it. You might want to close your eyes and visualize the sign, asking the universe for clarity on its meaning. Don't be surprised if insights pop into your mind during this quiet time. Journaling can also be a powerful tool when working with signs. Write down the sign you noticed, when and where you saw it, and what you think it might mean. Over time, you might start to see patterns in the types of signs you receive and what they tend to mean for you. Plus, writing things down can help you process and understand them better. It's important to remember that signs are often calls to action. The universe isn't just sending you pretty number sequences or meaningful coincidences for fun. It's trying to guide you. So, once you've interpreted a sign, think about what action you could take based on that guidance. Maybe the sign is encouraging you to pursue a new opportunity, reach out to someone, or make a change in your life. Sometimes, the action you need to take might not be obvious right away. In these cases, the sign might be asking you to pay attention and stay open. Keep your eyes peeled for more signs or opportunities that might arise. The universe often sends us breadcrumbs, leading us step by step rather than revealing the whole path at once. Don't be afraid to ask for clarification. If you've received a sign but you're not sure what it means, it's okay to ask the universe for more guidance. You might say something like, "Thank you for this sign. If I'm understanding correctly, it means your interpretation. If that's right, could you please send me another sign to confirm?" Then stay alert for the response. It's also important to act on the signs you receive. If you keep asking for guidance but ignore the signs when they come, you might find that they start to decrease. The universe responds to our engagement. When we act on the guidance we receive, we open ourselves up to receive more. Remember, though, that following signs from the universe doesn't mean you should ignore your own common sense or gut feelings. If a sign seems to be leading you to do something that feels wrong or dangerous, take a step back. True divine guidance will never push you to harm yourself or others. Lastly, don't forget to express gratitude. When you receive and act on a sign, take a moment to thank the universe. This gratitude helps to keep the lines of communication open and strengthens your connection to the divine guidance all around you. Working with signs from the universe is a journey. It's okay if you don't always get it right or if you're not sure what a sign means. The important thing is to stay open, curious, and willing to engage with the guidance you're receiving. Over time, you'll develop a deeper understanding of how the universe communicates with you and how to integrate this guidance into your life. Remember, the universe is always communicating with us. By learning to recognize and respond to these signs, you're opening yourself up to a whole new level of guidance and support in your life. It's like having a cosmic GPS guiding you towards your highest good. So stay open, stay curious, and enjoy the magical journey of co-creating with the universe. When it comes to signs from the universe, there are a few common misunderstandings that can trip people up. Let's clear these up so you can navigate the world of spiritual signs with more clarity and confidence. One of the biggest misconceptions is that signs from the universe always mean yes or are always positive. This isn't necessarily true. Sometimes, a sign might be a warning or a no. For example, if you're considering taking a new job and you keep encountering obstacles or negative signs related to it, this might be the universe's way of saying it's not the right path for you right now. It's also important to understand that signs don't always have to be dramatic or life-changing. We often expect signs to be big, movie-worthy moments, like a bolt of lightning or a stranger delivering a profound message. But more often, signs are subtle and everyday occurrences. That quiet feeling of peace when you think about a decision, or a book falling open to a relevant page, can be just as meaningful as more dramatic signs. Another misunderstanding is that once you start looking for signs, you'll immediately see them everywhere. While it's true that becoming more aware can help you notice more signs, it's also possible to go through periods where signs seem scarce. This doesn't mean the universe has abandoned you or that you're doing something wrong. Sometimes, the lack of signs is itself a message, perhaps indicating that you need to trust your own judgment or that it's time for quiet reflection. Some people believe that signs only come when you're facing big life decisions or crises. While signs can certainly appear during these times, they're not limited to them. The universe can send you guidance about everyday matters too, like which book to read next or whether to call a friend. Learning to recognize and appreciate these small guidances can enrich your daily life. There's also a misconception that you need to be a particularly spiritual or psychic person to receive signs. This isn't true at all. The universe communicates with everyone. We just need to be open to receiving the messages. It's more about awareness and openness than any special abilities. Another common misunderstanding is that signs will always be clear and easy to interpret. In reality, signs can sometimes be ambiguous or confusing. This is often because the message isn't what we expect or want to hear, or because we need to dig deeper to understand its true meaning. If a sign seems unclear, it might be inviting you to reflect more deeply or to be patient as more information unfolds. Some people think that once they receive a sign, they don't need to take any action themselves. They might wait passively for things to magically fall into place. But signs are usually invitations to co-create with the universe. They guide us, but we still need to take steps and make choices based on that guidance. Lastly, there's a misconception that signs will always lead to immediate positive outcomes. While following signs can certainly bring more flow and alignment into your life, it doesn't mean everything will instantly become perfect. Sometimes, signs might lead us through challenges that help us grow or learn important lessons. Trust that even if the path isn't always smooth, it's leading you where you need to go. Divine timing is one of those concepts that can seem abstract at first, but once you start noticing it, you'll see it everywhere in your life. It's the idea that everything happens at the exact right moment, even if that moment isn't when we think it should be. Let's explore how this concept plays out in our everyday lives. Think about relationships for a moment. Have you ever met someone and felt an instant connection, as if you were meant to know each other? That's divine timing at work. Maybe you weren't ready for that relationship earlier in your life, but now, at this precise moment, you're both in the right place to connect. Or perhaps you've had the experience of running into an old friend just when you needed their particular kind of support or advice. These aren't just coincidences. They're examples of divine timing orchestrating events in our lives. Career paths are another area where divine timing often shows up. Maybe you've been passed over for a promotion you really wanted, only to find out later that an even better opportunity was waiting for you. Or perhaps you've been laid off from a job which felt terrible at the time, but it freed you up to pursue a passion you'd been neglecting. Divine timing doesn't always feel good in the moment, but looking back, we can often see how things unfolded in the best possible way. Even in our personal growth journeys, divine timing plays a crucial role. Sometimes we struggle with the same issue over and over, wondering why we can't seem to overcome it. Then suddenly, we have an aha moment, and everything clicks into place. It's not that we weren't trying hard enough before. It's that we needed to go through certain experiences first to be ready for that breakthrough. Divine timing also shows up in the little moments of our day. Have you ever been running late, feeling stressed, only to find that your delay caused you to avoid an accident or meet someone important? Or maybe you've had the experience of a book or movie coming into your life at exactly the right moment, providing the exact wisdom or comfort you needed. These are all examples of divine timing working in subtle ways to guide and protect us. It's important to remember that divine timing doesn't mean we should sit back and wait for things to happen. It's more about co-creating with the universe. We take action, set intentions, and work towards our goals, but we also remain open to the possibility that things might unfold in unexpected ways or on a different timeline than we anticipated. Divine timing also teaches us patience and trust. In our fast-paced world, we often want everything to happen immediately, but some things need time to develop, just like a seed needs time to grow into a plant. When we trust in divine timing, we can relax into the process of life, knowing that everything is unfolding as it should. This concept can be especially comforting during challenging times. When we're going through difficulties, it can be hard to see any purpose in our struggles. But divine timing reminds us that these challenges might be preparing us for something better, or teaching us valuable lessons we'll need later. It encourages us to ask, what can I learn from this? Rather than, why is this happening to me? Divine timing also helps us appreciate the present moment more fully. When we trust that we're exactly where we need to be right now, we can stop worrying so much about the future or regretting the past. We can engage more fully with the here and now, knowing that this moment is perfect in its own way. Now that we've explored divine timing and signs from the universe, let's put this knowledge into practice with a simple exercise. This exercise will help you become more aware of the signs and synchronicities in your own life. For the next week, I want you to keep a signs journal. This doesn't have to be anything fancy. A simple notebook or even a notes app on your phone will do. Every day, make a point to notice and write down any potential signs or synchronicities you experience. These could be repeating numbers, meaningful songs, unexpected encounters, or anything else that feels significant to you. Start each day with an intention. When you wake up, take a moment to set an intention to be open to signs from the universe. You might say something like, "I am open to receiving guidance today." Stay alert throughout the day. As you go about your activities, try to maintain an awareness of what's happening around you. Notice the little things that you might usually overlook. Write it down. Whenever you notice something that could be a sign, jot it down in your journal. Include what the sign was, when and where you noticed it, and any immediate thoughts or feelings you had about it. Reflect at the end of the day. Before bed, take a few minutes to review your notes. Look for patterns or connections you might have missed earlier. Consider what guidance these signs might be offering you. Act on the guidance. If you feel that a sign is pointing you towards a particular action, take that step. It doesn't have to be anything big. Maybe it's as simple as calling a friend or looking up information on a topic that keeps coming up. Remember, the goal isn't to force signs to appear or to overanalyze every little thing that happens. It's simply to open yourself up to the possibility of receiving guidance and to start noticing the ways the universe might be communicating with you. At the end of the week, review all your entries. You might be surprised at how many signs and synchronicities you've experienced once you started paying attention. This exercise can be the beginning of a beautiful dialogue between you and the universe. As we wrap up our exploration of divine timing and signs from the universe, I hope you're feeling excited about the possibilities that await you. Remember, the universe is constantly communicating with us, offering guidance, support, and wisdom. All we need to do is open our eyes, hearts, and minds to receive these messages. We've learned that signs can come in many forms, from repeating numbers and meaningful songs to chance encounters and gut feelings. We've discovered that divine timing is always at work in our lives, orchestrating events in ways that serve our highest good, even when we can't see it in the moment. But knowledge alone isn't enough. The real magic happens when we start to apply these concepts in our daily lives. That's why I encourage you to try the practical exercise we discussed. Keep that signs journal for a week and see how it changes your perspective. You might be amazed at the guidance and synchronicities you start to notice once you're actively looking for them. Remember, working with signs and divine timing is a practice. It's okay if you don't get it perfect right away. Be patient with yourself, stay curious, and keep an open mind. Over time, you'll develop your own unique relationship with the universe and its signs. As you move forward from here, carry with you the understanding that you are never alone. The universe is always supporting you, guiding you, and working in your favor. Trust in the process of life, even when things don't go as planned. Have faith that everything is unfolding in perfect divine timing. And most importantly, don't forget to enjoy the journey. There's something truly magical about living life in cooperation with the universe. It brings a sense of flow, purpose, and wonder to our days. So embrace the signs, trust in divine timing, and watch as your life transforms in beautiful and unexpected ways. Remember, you are a co-creator with the universe. Your thoughts, intentions, and actions work hand in hand with universal forces to shape your reality. So dream big, stay open to guidance, and trust in the perfect unfolding of your path. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of divine timing and signs from the universe. May your journey forward be filled with meaningful signs, perfect timing, and the joy of dancing in harmony with the cosmic rhythms of life.